and it feels great. The wheels are nice and solid. They're a bit like I described it to somebody the other day as the front of an F-150 Ford pickup truck. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's not toy-like. It's like it's robust.
Welcome to Don't Harp On with me, Rob Sears. I am delighted to be joined all the way from Seattle by Amos Miller. Nice to have you, Amos. How are you doing today?
Great. Excited to have a chance to chat with you. And yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Good. So, Glidance has been, I've seen it all over my Instagram. It's all in the Facebook chat groups. It's quite exciting. It's like a step into the future. I'm just going to let you take the lead on this, Amos, and talk a bit more about it. For anyone that hasn't seen Glidance yet, take it away. What can they expect?
Sure, Rob. So maybe I'll start with a brief introduction about myself, so folks know who I am and who's working on this project. My background is in computer science and engineering. I took my computer science degree back in the early 90s. Believe you me, there was already neural networks and AI then. And spent my career in technology, building software, new products. Spent many years in the UK. I'm currently based in Seattle. In 2007, I joined Microsoft in the UK. And I've been in Microsoft for many years, Microsoft Research. I'm also blind. I lost my sight from retinitis pigmentosa, as I think you have, Rob. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah. It started to get really hard in my early 20s, and by the age of 30, I was fully on a screen reader, JAWS, dog, and all. So a pretty aggressive progression of the disease. And so while I've been in tech and I've always enjoyed technology, I've always looked for ways in which we can use technology in my own life as a blind person. Of course, the virtues of screen readers and all the amazing developments there, and now with the advent of AI and computer vision, I think I'm just blown away by the tools and capabilities that we've got at our fingertips now to be able to live fulfilling lives and find meaningful work where we can, and bring up our kids. So that's really been sort of the progression of my life and the interplay between technology and blindness. I have to say that for most of my career, kept my blindness out of my work. And I think it came together when I spent some time with guide dogs in the UK on the board of trustees, and really started to look into technology, how technology's got an impact wayfinding and navigation. And that's really led to this work that I did before Glidance called Soundscape. Some of your listeners might be familiar with Soundscape, work that I led at Microsoft over quite a number of years, and really trying to understand again what does it mean to empower someone with blindness to feel sense of independence when we're out and about. To feel that we can just take a taxi, get off at Paddington Station, and walk onto a train and go to work, or without hesitation, without concern, without too much pre-planning, without, just, that kind of sense of independence and flow and confidence. And I really, really believe that technology has the potential, not only technology, there's a lot of other things that come into play. And as my work progressed, I really started to ask this question of how we have this amazing technology. Computer vision is coming. We now have the Meta Ray-Bans. They can describe the scene to you and tell you what's around here and so on. We have GPS and maps and outdoor maps, indoor maps. All of that is amazing. But one of the challenges that I've seen is that the question is, how do they convey the information to you as a user? Like if you had sight, right, you look at something and you sort of adjust your muscles in your body and you walk towards it, or you walk walk through a door, or keep on a path that's zigzagging with no trouble whatsoever. And if you had an intelligent device or an AI or whatever technology that can see the path and knows exactly where you need to go, but how is it going to tell you? How does it convey to you in a way that is really effective and not disruptive to your experience? And as you know, I spent a lot of time trying to do that with audio and with haptics. But what I found that if I use audio and haptics, I'm only really it's great, but it's only great for people who are already confident out about using their white cane or their guide dog, and they benefit from this added information. And they're willing to have a phone in one hand and a cane in the other, or willing to put something like speakers or things on their wrists or around their body. And so it gives you a bit of additional information, but fundamentally you have to be the person who's using the cane confidently or the guide dog. And it turns out the great majority of blind folks are not as confident. And I start with myself. I mean, I have a guide dog. I'm fairly confident with my guide dog on the routes that I do on a regular basis. Do I ever go to new places like without thought and just go? No, this is not something I really do. It's just my own anxieties. And so what I really reached at is this notion that in order for the technology to actually communicate with you effectively and guide, we need something that is physically connected to the ground and physically guides, i.e., that means a new kind of primary mobility aid. And Rob, I know that this is a bold statement, but that's after years of looking into this and being in the community, that's where I felt that we need to go in. A new kind of mobility aid, something that is physically connected to the ground, is powered by the technology that we have at our fingertips, and physically guides us, enables us to interact with it. It interacts with us, and it's something that is really quick to learn how to use, effective in all the situations, or many of the situations that we find ourselves where we get out in Uber, where's the door? We are in a big open space. We don't have anything to shoreline against, like all of these situations. Something that really helps with those. And that's really what culminated as Glide. Glide is the product that we are building at Glidance. And what Glide is it's an autonomous, we call it an autonomous intelligent guide. And if I just briefly describe it, it is a primary mobility aid. It has two wheels on the ground, a long handle that extends from the wheels at 45 degrees. And the user holds the handle and nudges the device to begin to walk. The wheels autonomously steer. They steer the way. They nudge a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. If you're walking along a sidewalk and there's a tree in the way, it's not going to stop at the tree and tell you tree. It's going to just steer you around that tree. You'd never know it was there unless you wanted Glide to tell you that. The whole body is fairly compact, but the wheels are large enough to deal with they're all-terrain wheels and designed to kind of really go over humps and bumps on the ground and gravel and everything. so that you can use it in every location, or most locations. I wouldn't say every location, and have the device guide you, and we can go into conversation into what ways that in the different ways that the device will work. I would emphasize that Glide is still in development. We are really making a ton of progress. 2024, we ran our prototypes with over 1,200 blind people. Really refined the physical, what we call the hardware. So the physical aspects of the device, the physical design, the placement of everything, the electronics, and 2025 is all about really lighting up the software and getting Glide into the streets and into the hands of people.
Yeah, I mean, it's super exciting. And I believe, I mean, now I've got someone on the inside. I believe I was contacted to be a part of something to do with it over the next year, 2025. It just
Fantastic.
It just looks immense. And I've not had a guide dog, but I know that in the UK in particular, the guide dogs are very expensive to train, and it takes a long time. And on the other end of the scale, we've got the white cane, and there's all kinds of problems with that. You know, in the mobility, the way it's used, we have a lot of pavements around, certainly where I live. It's just an absolute nightmare for cane. So, you know, the wheels, the way it looks, and it looks a bit more robust. It can handle a bit more. You know, it just looks incredible. And then one of the questions that I was really interested in is, how does it get the kind of the information? How is that fed back to someone that can't see?
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to start by kind of building on what you said. It is true that guide dogs are extremely expensive to train. However, being on my sixth guide dog, at least in my experience, for me, I am grateful that they exist and that all the organizations and the donors make them possible, because they really are an amazing companion and aid and navigation aid. And really, in no way is Glide trying to say that we don't need guide dogs anymore. I think that we are basically providing another option for people.
Yeah.
These options are not one or the other. I think for some people, it'll be a combination of a Glide and a cane. And sometimes you do this, sometimes you do that, or a Glide and a guide dog. Like, for example, with me, I don't take my guide dog when I travel, like on business, just because it's too intense and I don't have, the dog doesn't know its way anyway. So it just doesn't work for me, but I will take my Glide with me everywhere I go. Yeah. So I just want to, I think for a lot of people, especially people who have been using the cane for a while and have had great training, the cane is a wonder stick. Like it really is an amazing tactile way of experiencing the environment. Our good friend Daniel Kish, who uses the echolocation.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I really want to emphasize it. We call Glide so that it's not a cane and it's not a guide dog. It's something else.
Yeah,
I think it's exciting, and I think it's exciting for folks to see and to sort of bring it about. But it's in no way, I don't think, is a something that everybody will then stop using what they like. I think we have to provide another option to address your question. Really, so let me explain a little bit how Glide works, because it's we can get into the tech a little bit, and that's of course where I get excited. What I get excited about. It's basically a robot. Okay, there's no two ways about it. It builds on the advancements in robotics and AI in robotics from the autonomous vehicle industry and robotics in manufacturing, and just the world of robotics over the last 10 years has really transformed, making components much more affordable for consumer devices, bringing power that we did not have before to what we call the edge, which is power out on the device, compute power, AI power, memory, all the things that you need in order to really have build a robot that is highly capable at the edges in your hand, on the street or in a building. And so that's what we use. We use the main inputs that Glide uses, as I described it. The handle, the wheels are like about 2 feet in front of you. Whether if you hold it in your right hand, it'll be about 2 feet in front of your right hand, or just under a meter, in front of foot. And you hold the handle a little bit like the harness of a guide dog, but a little bit in front of you. Like it's not completely on the side, it's more in front of your belt level, yeah? And where you grip the handle just in front of your knuckles, there are 2 what we call stereo depth cameras. These are cameras that are able to see not only like images and video, but they can also measure the distance of everything. So it creates a depth view of all the space in front of you. And we have 2 of those cameras, so that one is looking forward and slightly upwards, and the other is looking down along the stem, so it can see all trip hazards and cliff, like curb edges and platform edges and all kinds of things that are in your immediate surroundings. So that really, and there's a bunch of other sensors that Glide uses, sonar, and also it has various internal sensors to measure the movement of the wheels and the angle of the device and the acceleration in different directions and so on. And it uses all of this information to establish how fast you're walking, in which direction you're walking, and what's in front of you, and what are the options to guide you on. So it can what we say, first of all, it finds a line, right? So if you get on a sidewalk, it's looking for a nice smooth line to guide you along that sidewalk, yeah. And then that vector or that direction that you need to walk is then conveyed to the wheels. And basically what happens is that you push the device forward, and the wheels then take all that information and begin to steer you on that line. But we recalculate that line all the time. So if somebody walks in front of you, or just a pedestrian is coming in the opposite direction, or a car comes from a side, like we can see, and we recalculate that line all the time, and and the wheels adjust as you walk along. What we also have are brakes. So if Glide can't find a path to guide you on, it will apply the brakes and inform you. We have a voice in speakers in the handle. You can also connect them to a Bluetooth headset enabling Glide to convey information to you. But the brakes are really, really important, to control your speed, but also to control when you need to stop. I would emphasize one interesting thing, Rob, which I think some people some people are intrigued by, is that the wheels themselves are not motorized, as in terms that it doesn't actually pull you.
No.
And that's very deliberate. In that way, you are never in a situation that the device just drags you around. Yeah, you are always in control, and it really gives you as the individual a really sense that the Glide is a tool that you're using. It's not like something that you latch yourself onto, and yeah, it's a very different experience. I often describe it to sighted people. It's the difference between holding onto someone's arm and somebody else holding your arm and dragging you around, right? Yeah. Which I think all blind people would be familiar with.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So the the immediate question I have is, as an athlete, is it suitable for people that want to be exercising? Because that's something that, especially in the UK and in the United States, that visually impaired and blind people have the confidence to get outside and exercise, or find it difficult to get places and exercise with lack of footpaths and safety, anxiety about being outside. Is this something, I saw the chunky wheels and thought that looks like I could probably handle someone going for a slow jog, for example, once they're quite skilled at using it. Is it a tool that you think could be adapted to help blind athletes in the future?
Absolutely. What kind of what do you do, Rob? Just out of
So
curiosity.
I do triathlon.
You do? Wow.
I do, yeah. I know
Amazing.
it's good. But for me, for example, so training is difficult. Racing is great. I've got a guide called Ant who I race with, but training by myself is very difficult. So, if, for example, I had something that was, using the technology you described, and I was able to go for a slow jog, for example, would that be something that Glide could assist with, do you think?
So I can tell you where we are and where my head is at on that. So the simple answer is, at least the current version that we are working on, we are building it for speeds up to a slow jog. We call it 5. We are speccing the specifications of the device and the response times and everything is 5 miles an hour. I can't remember what that converts to in kilometers.
Yeah,
Somebody can do the calculation and tell us. Probably about 6.5.
Yeah. No, it's got to be more. 5 miles an hour. It's got to be about 8 kilometers, I reckon.
And that's a very fast walk or a relative, or a slow jog.
Yeah.
But in many ways, it's a bit of a finger in the air as to it's not only the response times of the device, right? It's also the response times of the user and the ability to actually run and hold a device like this. Like when you run with a partner, you can swing your arms, right? And you basically usually you'd have some kind of a thread, a loop with a partner, right? But you're swinging your arms, you're keeping your balance, and so on. And I think that there's a certain limit to at least the form factor or the way that Glide is designed today, whether you can actually run and hold the device in the right place and follow its guidance. Yeah. It might be so I think a slow jog definitely. If you're in an environment that it's generally clear and all the device is doing is making small adjustments to keep you on the path, like yeah. I think it will be entirely feasible, but we really do have to test this.
Of course.
And we will start. But this is, we also like we talked a bit before we started the recording. Like one of the things that I'm so excited is that we are so much at ground level here. Like we're building the foundation for something that once we have it in place, the whole thing is built on a software backend that drives the whole thing, right? Some of that software runs on the device, some of the software runs in the cloud. And the devices that we will see rolling out this year and through beta and then to people at home, they're going to be learning and improving all the time. And it will be based on what we learn and what we see and how people are feeling and what works and what doesn't work. I can't wait to start to plug in the devices to maps so that you can give it destinations and you can record routes, and then you can actually go somewhere and have a whole dialogue with the device about, hey, what's going on here, let's go over in that direction. Like all of these interactions are gonna come together over time, but really we have to start at ground zero. There has not been a device like this before. We're not building version 20 of a laptop that we know everything about. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I know that for some people, they want to see floor 20 by today, but I think we have to get through floors 1 through 19 to get to floor 20.
Absolutely.
And that's really what we are, where we are right now. And, but even with what we have right now, which is what we call freestyle navigation for, our goal at the moment is that Glide can be viable as a primary mobility aid, which means that it can guide you safely, it can keep you on the safe path, help you cross roads, find line of sight targets like doors and escalators and car doors and all the things that we are looking around for when we walk, dropped curbs, up curbs. Yeah. Let's start there. That's ground zero. Let's do that really well. Let's see lots of people walking with it and feeling really confident, and we build on that.
Absolutely. Well, when you need a model for the running prototypes, I'm definitely up for that.
Fantastic. Yeah, well,
but yeah, I think, like you say, this is what's causing so much excitement. Is that, just from the potential of it, and like you say, I think it's causing a lot of excitement in the groups I'm in, and it's quite nice because sight loss obviously takes an awful lot away from us, and sometimes having these little things coming up that it's like, actually, this is really exciting because
it's going to be fun. I can't wait. Hopefully in 2 or 3 weeks time, I'll be in a position to start using our prototype on a daily basis. I think that to your point about athletes, but just getting exercise, just getting out and about, just enjoying a stroll or a walk in the park, or deciding to go out today and go in to see a friend, or going into work instead of working from home. All of these daily decisions that we make, if Glide can be something that makes it fun and exciting to go out, I think it supports mental health and physical health and probably family health and all kinds of things. Mobility is just so central to our lives.
And that's why I was so excited to kind of get you on here, because I was looking at it thinking, man, this is super exciting, and I was seeing people going through trials of it and all kinds of stuff, thinking that it just looks fantastic. So one more question from me. I've completely forgotten my question. I had it and then I forgot.
That's okay. I'll start saying something and then you pop in with your question. I guarantee it will come back.
Probably. Oh yes, I remember.
Like I said, we are building very much Glide. We're building it out in the open. But I mentioned earlier that we have demonstrated it and tested it with over 1,200 people through conferences and demos that we organize, demo days that we do. We had a few in the UK in November. We're at Site Village, and for us, the whole company and every person on our team, we believe that we don't know what we don't know. And the only way to find out is to go out there and hear from people and get put prototypes in people's hands and see what happens. The way to get involved in that and to find out about where we are and what we're doing regular Zoom calls that people can join every last Wednesday of every month. So I just encourage people to go onto our website and register if they haven't done so yet. And they'll, people who have been involved find it extremely valuable. And I just encourage people to go and do that. 2025 is going to be a crazy year. We have a roadshow. We're going to go across the United States and a number of places in Europe and in the UK, so people can keep an eye on where we will be. And really, that's really foundational again for making sure that we're building this future with robotics and AI and mobility, build it in the right way together.
Definitely. And so what has been the response, from people using it for, what other sighted people, what's been the impact of it? Because obviously it looks, like something out of the future. And obviously people get used to seeing the white cane and a guide dog, and they kind of understand what that looks like. Has there been much feedback on how it's perceived and the kind of questions and stuff that it throws up?
Yeah, I think we've made quite a lot of progress on that in the last year, to the point that the response that we get when we walk with this in an airport or in a shopping mall or in a store or just down the street is people, first of all, people can see that the device is doing something. There's an LED light that surrounds the rim of the device, and the wheels are clearly moving, and so from the perspective of people getting out of the way and people seeing it, we are getting that level of like, it's important that people see it and notice that something's happening there. We're even adding some movement to the LED lights so that it just attracts a little bit more attention. But from the response, you'll be amazed, but people just look and say, wow, is this what I think it is? And they walk over and they say, my uncle could do with something like that. Or like, it's people who don't necessarily consider their uncle to be blind and go to the RNIB for cane training, but clearly Uncle Bob has sight loss, right? And is unable to get out and about anymore without a helping hand. And I think that's what we're starting to see. That people are coming out of the woodworks. And I've seen it. I see that over and over again. Wherever we go, people walk over. And I think it's, I mean, I know that some of us in the community would say, no, please get away from me. I don't want to talk to you. I just want to listen to my music. Right? But I think at least the pioneers and early adopters, I think they'll have to suffer through it and get a lot of interest when they're out and about.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean, I love it because it's all about awareness and, it's exposure and just having conversations about, the thing with disabilities. It can be a real elephant in the room sometimes, and people don't always know what to say to a blind person with their white cane, but that sort of gives people a bit of an in to, so that's really extraordinary. I've never seen that before. What's it doing, blah? And I think it can only be a positive thing as long as you like talking to people, of course.
Yeah.
And
the device does look cool.
It does.
We are and it feels great. The wheels are nice and solid. They're a bit like I described it to somebody the other day as the front of an F-150 Ford pickup truck. Like, it's not toy-like. It's robust.
It looks great.
It sends a message. It's I'm confident. I'm here. I'm good. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And
Yeah, I can't wait to see where it goes. Amos, thank you so much for your time. I'll put all the links to Glidance and Glides, Instagrams and all sorts in the video description. I would love to catch up with you later on in the year and see where you're up to with it, and have you back on if you come back to talk to me.
Thank you, sir. And it'd be an honor.
Great. Amos, thank you so much. Have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you, Rob.